Hello everyone. I'm just logging on of YouTube as well as Instagram. So just bear with me for a quick minute. And okay, yeah. Hello everyone. We are on the third Wellness Wednesday for this month, and this month our topic is we are discussing all about healthy weight. We're discussing about weight loss. We are going to talk about several things that will help set you up for this new year 2023. Hi Isha, happy new year to you. So we are talking about different reasons that somebody may not lose weight even though you are eating clean. So that's the topic for today. And this month, I'm going to talk a lot about healthy weight, weight loss, optimal body fat. Next week, it's going to be all about, or next month, it's going to be all about nutrition and psychology. So next month is going to be super interesting as well. So stay tuned. So we will talk about, like why are you not losing weight if you are eating clean, right? So the number one factor here is, everybody has a different definition of eating clean in today's world, right? So eating clean would refer to a diet that is usually fresh, it's whole food, it's self prepared, it's nutrient dense, but often you will see that people fall for different marketing gimmicks where they would portray a packaged food as something that's high quality, that's clean, that has a lot of nutrients. For example, organic, right? Organic is a huge keyword, and often when people buy foods, they're thinking, that are organic, they think they're buying healthy, clean foods, and that may not be the case here, right? So a quick hi to Praveen. Pam is here as well, and Arya is here as well. Hello everyone. Happy new year to everyone who's seeing me here for the first time. Happy new year, Isha. So we're talking about clean eating, and what I'm trying to say is, if you fall for any of the marketing gimmicks, right, it may not always be, in your benefit. An example is, different foods are labeled as, a certain smart food, which may not really be smart for you, right? Organic mac and cheese is still going to be processed, is still going to have lots of, refined carbs, not so great fats for you, and is still going to be unhealthy, right? Organic fruits and juices, fruit juices would still have tons of sugar. And even though they're organic, if you are somebody who's struggling with insulin insensitivity, or if you're struggling with excess weight and excess sugar intake, you have symptoms of that, even an organic juice is not going to be clean for you, right? So what exactly do we mean by clean foods is what I wanted to discuss. And here is where I'm going to talk about, the five things how your clean eating journey should be. But before that, I'm going to talk about the seven reasons that you're not losing weight. So the number one is you may not be eating clean. You think you're eating clean, but really you are not eating clean because you're falling a prey to all these marketing gimmicks, right? You think you're doing yourself a favor by buying something that's organic because they're portraying it as organic, as healthy, but it's not there, right? So a lot of pre-packaged foods, will have lots of salt, they will have lots of sugar, um, they will have the not so good fat added to, and marketed as clean, but they are not going to be clean, right? Nowadays there is also a tendency for different fast food chains to market, different food bowls, right? So buddha bowls, there'll be some chicken, there'll be some rice, but there are going to be a lot of additives, there are going to be lots of preservatives, and there is going to be a high amount of sodium. So even if you're going to grab a bowl at a fast food joint, it is definitely a healthier choice than eating burger and french fries. But if you are on a clean eating journey, it's still going to have way too many preservatives, it's still going to have, way too much sodium, and it is not clean, right? So that's the number one thing, and that could be one of the reasons why you're not losing weight. And often, if you look at the portions in Canada or US, they're massive portions, right? So For example, I love mucho burrito. I used to go there all the time. I haven't in the new year because I'm really eating clean and I'm cooking all my meals myself. So at the time, you can never finish a bowl, right? So you have to, and if you end up finishing the bowl just because you're super hungry, or if it's the portion, it is twice the portion of what you should be eating, right? So number one is, even though you think you are not eating clean because you're still eating processed foods which are labeled as organic or healthy or clean, so that is not really clean food. Second one is you're eating too many calories or excess protein or excess good fat, right? So protein is 100% essential for our daily life, so are good fats and so are good carbs, right? So you need all these three macros. But if you start eating 4 avocados every single day because they are good for you, you are consuming an excess of fat that your body may not be able to process, right? Similarly, too many protein shakes, or having excess amounts of animal protein or any other kinds of protein, even hemp seeds for that matter, will give you too many calories. And if you're eating anything that exceeds your body's digestion capacity, or we call it agni in Ayurveda, right? So if you're eating anything that's exceeding the capacity of your agni, you are going to create a lot of toxicity in the body. Your digestion is going to be sluggish, and you will end up not losing any weight, right? And this impaired digestion is going to further create a lot of problems in your body channels as well, and lead to food intolerances, right? So that is the number two thing, is eating too many calories, too much protein, too many good fats, or eating beyond the capacity of your digestion, right? Eating beyond the capacity of your agni, eating way more than your body can digest, right? So that's the number two reason why you're not losing weight. Number three reason is linked to number two. So if you have been working against your digestion for a long time, what ends up happening is you start developing food sensitivities or food intolerances. Again, here I don't say that the food is bad overall for everyone. As I say, gluten is not the evil of the century, or dairy is not what everybody reacts to. But if you are reacting to it, all the foods that you eat are creating inflammation in your system, which will make you gain more fat. And in the last video, I had discussed how fat is created in the body or stored in the body because of high inflammation. At the same time, this high fat is now going to be inflammatory and increase the inflammation in your body. So number three is, if you are struggling with food sensitivities, food intolerances, please get tested. In my clinic, I often find that once you start eliminating whatever foods are working against your body, you will start losing the weight without even trying. So that's the number three thing, food intolerances. Number four are any hormonal imbalance related conditions, right? So if you are eating clean, but if you have an underlying thyroid issue, which could be hypothyroidism, or if you have an underlying adrenal issue, right? Or if your estrogen progesterone is completely out of whack, if you have high cortisol, so if there is any kind of hormonal imbalance, you will not lose the weight even though you eat clean, because you have to identify the hormonal imbalance and make sure your hormones are brought back into balance. So you have to look at the root cause here. So that was the number four thing, hormonal imbalance. Number five is exercise, right? So exercising, people often either exercise too much or absolutely not at all. And both are not going to be the best for you. Both are not going to work in your favor, right? When you exercise beyond your body's capacity for a long time, you will start noticing that you start becoming exhausted. You're pushing your stress glands too much by exercising beyond your body's capacity. And at the same time, if you are not exercising even to half of your capacity, you're a couch potato, what ends up happening is there's a lot of toxins in your body accumulated, your lymph doesn't flow well, and that itself will make sure you're not losing any weight. So just clean eating is one part of the picture, but making sure you're getting daily activity, you're getting good amounts of exercise or movement on a daily basis is extremely important. And here, a tip that I would like to give to all the people that hate exercise is find something that you absolutely love, right? So I love dancing. So, whenever I get a chance, I'll just put on the music and dance. And I absolutely love sun salutations when it comes to yoga, right? So in the yogic practice, you can have a lot of asanas, or you could do sun salutations. I really like dynamic activity. So even when I work out, I want it to be dynamic. I like tabata exercises, I like surya namaskar. So anything that's a lot of movements is my favorite. So once you find your favorite thing, exercise doesn't become a chore. It's almost like you crave it because it makes you feel so good. So that was my number 5 thing, is if you're not getting any exercise, or if you're doing too much exercise, it is not making you lose weight. The sixth one is also extremely important that nobody talks about, and that is getting enough sleep or getting enough rest, right? So if you struggle with sleep deprivation because you're busy with your cell phone at night, or you're busy chatting, watching movies, or you have had any incidences of grief, for example, or anxiety or mental health related struggles where you are unable to sleep, sleep is extremely important for the recovery of your body, and also extremely important for maintaining a normal weight, right? So there are studies done where sleep deprivation is going to create obesity. It is linked to obesity, it is linked to high fat, it is linked to higher levels of inflammation. So if you are not sleeping well, you are not going to lose weight. So that was my number 6. And the seventh one is something nobody talks about, right? That is mental health related issues. So whether you're going through anxiety or you're going through depression, often we see that people will seek comfort in food, right? So when someone is extremely anxious, they will go and find some kind of a food, especially like fatty food or something like carbs, which will help calm them down or give them temporary relief. The same with depression, right? So any of the refined carbs, if you have some kind of sugar that makes you instantly feel better, that will elevate your mood for a shorter time before it will lead to a crash. And you will think that, oh my god, I love this food, this is helping me, but it's not helping you in the long term, right? So if you are not losing weight, you think you're eating really clean, and then you go on binging, whenever you feel very uncomfortable with your emotions. So the number one thing to do here is address the mental health issue, right? Whether you go through anxiety, whether you go through depression, make sure you're addressing whatever issue is going on. um, Talk to someone about it, go for counseling, or at least start journaling, and make sure you address the anxiety or depression that is leading you to binging. So you could be eating, really clean, and then suddenly go on a binge, right? So that will stop that binging, and that will stop putting your body under a lot of stress, right? So these are the 7 things to do, the 7 main reasons why you're not losing any weight even though you're eating clean. So now let's talk about 5 things to know if you want to start your eating clean journey, right? So number 1 thing is avoid buying pre-packaged foods, right? No matter how organic it says, no matter how healthy it says, no matter how clean it says, a processed food is still a processed food, right? So, as I mentioned before, organic mac and cheese is still all calorie dense, but not nutrient dense. A bag of organic corn chips is again going to be calorie dense and not nutrient dense, right? So, if you stop buying this pre-packaged foods, you will avoid calorie density, and you will get to focus on nutrient density. Nutrient dense foods are the foods which are packed with vitamins, which are packed with minerals, and that are really good for you. So when you start your clean eating journey, avoid anything that comes out of a package, right? Try to buy foods as fresh as you can, as whole as you can. So that's number one, avoiding pre-packed foods. Second one, whole grains, fresh foods, anything that's in season, right? So seasonal foods are also extremely important for your body to thrive and function. um, so any whole grains, any fresh fruits rather than the packaged fruit juice, vegetables fresh that grow in the season are extremely important. So focusing on whole grains, fresh fruits, buy quinoa or rice rather than like a quinoa pasta or a rice pasta, right? So the whole grain is also going to have fiber, the whole grain is also going to have vitamins and minerals that are going to nourish your body, and the refined pasta may not have those nutrients, right? So that's the number two thing. Number three is something we all need to implement, is eat more greens, right? So in this season, cooked greens are going to be the best. So make sure you eat a lot more greens that will have good amounts of fiber. They're low in calorie density. They help flush your body. And the wonderful thing that the fiber does to you is it also feeds your good bacteria, right? So when we talk about our gut health, you need to feed the guests that you invite in your body via, probiotics or probiotic foods, right? So make sure you have those. Number five is to cook your own, number four is to cook your own food. When you cook your own food, you know exactly what goes into your food, right? And again, cooking is not something that's about a certain gender. Cooking is not something that's um, a chore. Cooking is something that makes you self sufficient. Cooking is something that makes you healthy. So even if you learn five or six simple dishes to make, they are going to make you way healthier, right? So cook your own food. That's number four. And number five is the big mistake that I see many people making on the clean eating journey. And I want to know if you're making the same mistake as well. So number five is most people add too many natural sweeteners. So that is something you need to avoid, right? So if you're having a lot of energy balls with dates, or you making your own granola with any kind of, apricots or dried fruit, or you're putting jaggery in your tea, which was like a big trend, right? Again, too much sugar, even in the natural form, even in natural sweetener form, is going to affect you. So make sure when you start your clean eating journey, you start cutting down on how much sugar you are taking in the natural form or in the refined form, both, right? Refined, absolutely eliminate, but even natural sugars, you have to be mindful of how much you're consuming. And in my experience, people consume way more natural sugars in the form of dates and apricots and different things. And another example I can give you here is, if you look at any of the vegan desserts, they're delicious, but they're extremely calorie dense. There is lots of nuts and lots of you know dried fruits in them, so they're not going to be super healthy when you start eating clean, right? So these are the five things you have to pay attention to in your clean eating journey. Now, I know a few of you are watching this live, so I want to know which of the today's tips are your favorite ones, and which one are you going to implement in your clean eating journey. Are you going to avoid buying anything pre-packaged, or add more whole grains and fresh fruits, eat more greens, cook your own food, or are you going to avoid a lot of even natural sweeteners, right? So please post it in the comments and let me know what are you going to implement. Again, thank you so much for joining me live. For everyone that's live, we have started with Wellness Wednesdays. We were not doing any Wellness Wednesdays for the month of December because I was visiting India. So next week we have another topic. We are going to discuss about the five main causes of hormonal weight gain and how to prevent it. So that's the topic for the next week. Thank you once again for watching. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you next Wednesday. So Pam